I'm 22 now. And yet I feel strange. I feel kind of defeated, right? Like today's supposed to be my birthday, right? It's supposed to be a day where I'm supposed to be happy and things are going good for myself and all that type of stuff, but I don't feel any of that. And it's just like, well, damn. I'm just getting older and nothing has happened with my life yet. That's kind of like the point where I am at this point, right? Because I'm 22. I'm not getting any younger at this point. And I now realize that. Well, I've been realized that, but it's now starting to hit me for real. And it's just like, we've been doing this for almost 4 years now and still nothing has come through. People usually be like, well, it took me about 7-10 years to get somewhere. I don't have 7 and 10 years to, try to get somewhere when it comes to things. I need some things now, like, not even gonna lie. And with how things have been going, especially how really I grow 1 year older now, and it's like, looking back throughout that previous year, nothing has happened really for us, honestly. And it's just been kind of trashing in my brain, honestly. It kind of just makes me feel a bit disappointed in myself, honestly, because it's just like, it's not like I haven't been trying. Like, I've been trying to fix things up, try to, get my name out there in some shape and form, try to talk to people. But as I said in the beginning of this year, talking to people don't really do shit. And when it comes down to things, it's just like, well, you kind of just stuck. You're just stagnant. You're just in a perpetual loop, and it doesn't necessarily make any kind of sense of why you're still stuck in it. Especially of all days where it's like, it's my birthday, I'm supposed to feel happy and stuff, but I don't feel that, and it's so annoying. And it's not like I haven't been trying. It's just, I don't know what else I can do. I don't know. Obviously, one thing would help is if I had like a, VTuber model, obviously, like everybody else has. But at the very same time, how the hell does that work? I don't necessarily know. And I actually have been talking to people about fixing that problem out and all that type of stuff. And I learned a few things. I learned that's going to cost about $2,000. I learned that it's also going to cost an iPhone XR to use that for VTubing, which I don't know shit about iPhones, honestly. So I had to put my Androidness aside for 10 seconds. But when it comes down to things, it's just, everything requires money, and it's a pain in the ass. I only got, if I'm going to be legit with you, I only got $60 to my name. What is that really going to do? I know this ain't what you really come in this video for and try to listen to, but I just really want to nail this thing home and just basically be like, I'm 22 now. People my age has already, especially on the internet, has already been successful. Even when they were like teens and whatever. There are people that's already successful, yet I can't figure out anything. As creative as my brain is to try to make stuff like Hikatsu's story or try to say what's really on my mind and be honest about my opinions on certain things, I can't get nothing off of that. Like, it just feels off. It doesn't make any kind of sense. Because at this point, I'm just like, okay, I just want to get some shit done. We've been doing this for almost 4 years now, and I'm just ready to get to a point where everything's like fixed up and ready. I'm just at a point where I'm just like, okay, I want to pay off my parents' mortgage because the house is going to foreclose if I don't in a few years. Then you also have like, my mom always wanted a Lexus car, which, she's been asking for that since she was like 50, so might as well need to do that before it's too late on that. I like to get myself a decent car. Don't need a really expensive car, but I like to get a decent one, then get myself a house. Then after that, everything else really doesn't necessarily matter, especially if I'm getting income to come in from somewhere. I would just practically do giveaways or, sign merch and just give that away too. Or like literally donate to charity, which is something I still want to do, and I've been always wanted to do, like helping out some kids instead of just talking about, oh, donate to the link below. Like, let me do it too, and that's just like the type of thing I've been wanting to do. But again, no opportunities has come my way, no type of people has come through and just provided me a chance at something. And that's like the biggest thing that kind of frustrates me. So when it comes down to things, it's annoying as hell that I'm in this position, and it's just frustrating, and I'm not really getting any younger. So I'm still gonna try to do everything I can when it comes to YouTube as much as I possibly can, but something need to come through soon because I'm getting practically desperate at this point. I don't necessarily know what to do. Again, I didn't really want to say this on my birthday especially, but it's just annoying how literally a year happens and nothing literally changes. So I just wanted to vent that out there. But anyway, today we have Quickatsu's story, and we need to do that because I did work my butt off when it comes to, writing Ruby's part of the story, because I ain't gonna necessarily lie. People have said that, it was pretty damn good. So I have high expectations that this video will do well. I hope. If you haven't seen the previous video, what the hell even happened? I don't know. Sage ends up telling Jay that there was another world that has come through in the safe haven, but he was banging Blue. So of course he had to do that after and bang Sage as well. Then they found out again the Yasuo Inaba was a place, and Lamine came through, and then she was pissed off at Jay because he told her that she wasn't real and that world that she came from wasn't real and stuff like that. So that pissed her off a lot. Then you also had to go to Yasuo Inaba with Koneko, and they had a fun time when Jay was spazzing out because he was saying every day is great at your local Junez because he's a persona ass. But anyway, when it comes down to things, they had a nice ass meal, had sex, had a good time. Then ends up seeing the Midnight Channel. Symphony was on the Midnight Channel, and so now they had to talk to Rize to figure things out and summon her to the world. And the spatial explains some lore with that. And then now they're inside the TV and they're trying to find Symphony. However, Weiss and Ruby came through and started to whoop that ass, even though Jay was not about to have that. And that's basically where we at right now. Also, I'd like to note one thing though. A lot of these writings on Twitter, honestly, when I do these script writings and whatever, they've been getting some views, honestly. They've been getting like 100 or 200 views per like act that I kind of write down, and it's kind of cool. So I'm not necessarily gonna lie, it makes me again more pumped to kind of make this serious, especially when people actually wants to pay attention to it, even though people might not necessarily like the decision I might make with the future when it comes to Blake and Yang. But it is what it is. But you'll see why I'm kind of going for that route anyway. But we'll get to that point when we get to that point. That's not happening in this episode, by the way. But anyway, so we start off this episode again with the fight with Weiss and Ruby versus Koneko and Jay. And so the fight was basically on. And Ruby was swiping her scythe at Jay, but Koneko caught her lacking and gave her that two-piece combo. Anyway, after that, while she was piecing up Ruby, Weiss was trying to cut Koneko down, trying to cut down my bae, but Jay ended up basically stepping away, blocking that shit, as a good husband would do. So basically, Weiss was just like, "You are annoyingly persistent as you are quick." And I'm just like, "You're strong yourself." But that means nothing without your partner. And so Koneko jumps from behind and just slams her foot on Weiss's head. Go, queen. You absolutely know what you're doing in a fight. Beat that ass. But at the very same time, Weiss is just freaking the hell out. But at the same time, Ruby comes in and recovers, and then basically tries to counter Koneko after kicking Weiss. But Jay was so damn fast, his ass was just on the damn scythe like he was about to pimp her out or some shit. He just like, "And what you thought you was about to do?" And so Ruby was just confused as shit. She was like, "Wait, how did you even get up there that fast?" And so Koneko basically stepped on Ruby's weapon and spin kicked Ruby in the face. Kick ass, queen. Keep going, lady. We can do this all day. And then Ruby and Weiss were basically pushed back. Damn, my wife know how to kick ass. All she needs is a little bit of support, and she good. That's all that matters. But anyway, so basically they pushed back, and Weiss is just like, "They may be more than we can handle by ourselves. We need Blake and Yang. Let's retreat for now." And Ruby was not having it. She was just like, "No. We need to beat them. If they are going to bring harm to Revenant, then we need to stop them right now." And so basically Weiss just like, "Ruby!" And so essentially, Koneko just like, "Yeah, keep coming. We'll just fight till we can't anymore, dumbass." And so Jay's just like, "This world, it's taking a lot of energy. Alright, I have an idea on finishing this." And he basically goes into his purification form, his purity. And so he basically asks Koneko like, "Alright, can you cover me?" And she's just like, "Of course I can." And so basically, Jake, without any type of hesitation, quickly dashes at Ruby and basically just to the point where she couldn't even react, and just be like, and Jay just like, "Say goodbye to despair," and essentially starts purifying Ruby and purifying the despair out of her. And so Weiss is just like, "Get your hands off of Ruby!" And essentially Koneko smacks Weiss in the face. Queen doing good shit. How many times do I gotta keep saying this? And anyway, Koneko basically smacked her in the face, and so Koneko was just like, "Shut it, Peppermints." And so Ruby just had her mind slowly but surely freed. And so Jay was finding this a bit interesting because whatever was in Ruby is somewhat going into him. Basically, Jay's power was leaving him, but at the same time, he was also hearing vague voices from the show that, was going through his head as he was basically purifying Ruby. And essentially, after that whole thing is done, the despair is basically gone from her, and Jay kind of loses all out of his power because, believe it or not, purifying people takes a lot out of him. So when it comes down to things, he's like, it's done. And then Konako just kind of backing off of Weiss, and she's just like, I'm so tired, but I won't let you hurt him. And so Weiss is kind of like thinking all her options at this point. Okay, my leader is freaking dumb as hell, and she's out cold. I got 2 people out here that's tired, but they can still whip my ass if I'm not careful. And so Weiss is just thinking to herself at this point. And so Jay just like, she at least won't be used by any more despair. And so Weiss is just like, I guess I don't have much of a choice, nor a chance if I keep fighting. Besides, I'm unusually exhausted. And Konako's just like, exactly. So just give up already. And so Weiss to herself is like, I'm sorry, Ruby. I had to fall back for now. I'll be too exhausted if I don't leave right now. I swear to you, we won't let Ruby be manipulated by someone like you. And essentially, Weiss used whatever spell she used and then just leaves. And so essentially, she's gone from the world in the TV world. And Konako just falls over to her knees because she's extremely tired at this point. I mean, obviously, the TV world leaves you extremely tired if you don't know. So, yeah, that's kind of fair. But anyway, Konako is like hella gasping for air, but she's kind of tired. But she's like, so, friend, she is. And so I'm just like, better 1 catch her than 2. I guess that's what she thought. Look, go out of this world. Go to the TV. I don't want you passing out here. And so basically, Konako's just like, what about Symphony? And Miss Slice a lot. And so I'm just like, I'll get her. No worries. Just go ahead, babe. I'll watch her and bring her back myself. And so Konako's just like, fine, just be quick. And so she starts leaving through the TV. And I'm just like, I'll be fine. So get that cute butt through that screen. And so she basically essentially leaves. So it's just Jay and Ruby at this point. But also, we have a little bit of unexpected business to take care of when it comes down to things. If you remember from the last episode. But basically, I'm just like, she should be fine for a while. And so he walks over to the Velvet Room door, as you remember. And so he's like, okay, let's see what this is about. And he enters said Velvet Room. Wait a minute. No limo? And so a voice ends up talking to him, and she's just like, as a person without a contract, this room will not respond to you. And so I'm looking at them, and I'm like, Justine? And Caroline? Am I asking kind of like a little excited? Because it's like, oh yeah, Caroline, ooh, she got... Anyway, when it comes down to things, Caroline just like, Fate Breaker! You should be grateful to even be guided here. However, do not think for a second you will receive a persona. We simply wish to watch you and give you advice. For instance, the girl you're looking for, as well as your recent fight. And I'm just like, wait, why call me Fate Breaker? And essentially, Justine is just like, what you are doing, especially without the guidance or power of the wild card, should be impossible from where you reign from. And Caroline just like, but there is something special about you. Unfortunately, we couldn't possibly know why. And I'm just like, high praise. And essentially, you're probably wondering why she's so adamant about you harming her world when you believe it doesn't exist. And I'm just like, Ruby? And so Justine like, yes, you may not know this, but Remnant is real. But it is also not. And I'm just like, huh? So essentially Justine is just like, Remnant lies in a place between reality and fiction. And then Caroline basically gives us a lot of exposition. So she's just like, in that space, every world in existence and not in existence belong there. When you summon people via the universal essence, the essence comes from your world and enter the place that you created. In between is where they all form up. It's also why Inaba is here now. And I'm just like, okay, then does that apply to dreams? What about the dreams? And essentially Justine's just like, Dreams are usually meant to be handled by the elemental goddess. Some dreams can't reach her, so they end up becoming nightmares in the realm between. Available in the living mind, but absent of true matter. The girl you're looking for is in that state. And Caroline just basically come back and she's just like, we aren't sure of all the details about dreams. Our master would know, but because this is a strange and rare occurrence, you have to rely on us. Cry your tears of joy, inmate! And I'm just like, how come y'all helping me if y'all have no business with me if there's no contract? Like, what's to do with that then? And so Caroline just like, how foolish are you? And so Justine comes through and she's just like, Despair wants you to find the will of man. We would also like to see this answer. Furthermore, humanity perishing completely by despair is not of our best interest. And so Jay just like, okay, well, let's just say hypothetically, what would happen if I decided to end the world? And so Caroline just says, stop joking! Then this will be your last conversation ever, inmate. And so she gets very serious and she just continues on, but she's like, we're running out of time, so pay attention. If you want to save that girl, then you're going to have to use that form of yours and get rid of the fog. I'm just like, she's in the fog? And then Justine's like, she is the fog. And so Jay's like, huh? And so essentially Caroline's just like, you'll understand once you speak with her. And so Jay's just like, alright, so clear the fog and I'll get Symphony. Okay. Man, this is a lot to take in. I'm trying to think about all of it and I'm still barely processing it. If the spare can get into a realm in between like that, then who knows what other things it can gather to get to me. Sorry, Tome. I need to talk to her. Anyway, thanks you two. I got a lot of information now. Especially about the worlds that lie in between reality and fiction. And so Caroline just like, just keep in mind that sending people or even yourself there is dangerous. All you have summoned may not return the same, if at all. And I'm like, gotcha. And so Caroline just like, one last thing. Be alert of the people you keep around you. We believe someone is also against you, whether intentionally or accidentally. Regardless, keep your cards close, Fatebreaker. And I'm just like, I shouldn't be surprised. Thanks for the heads up though. And so I'm just like, by the way, since I'm not in a contract and you guys will stick around, why not come to the safe haven? And so Caroline just like, we will not join you in such an adventure. And so Justine just like, but Caroline, you said you were most intrigued by him and wanted to be by his side before inviting him here. And so Caroline just like, I didn't say that. Besides, I heard you wanted to meet him too. Dare I say you wanted to kiss him. And Justine just like, that's... And so Jay's just like, then I'll be seeing you at the safe haven for sure then now. It's been decided. And so Caroline just like, don't you decide anything, inmate. And so Jay's just like, in all seriousness though, I'm glad we talked. Once I get some time, let's go on a date. Later, Velvet Girls. And so he leads back into the TV world. So yes, there you go, inclusion of Justine and Caroline, which I honestly wanted to do for a hot ass minute. Jay is now back into the TV world, and he's a little bit refreshed because the Velvet Room obviously doesn't strain you like the TV world or the metaverse does. So when it comes down to things, he's a little okay now. But anyway, he basically essentially starts yelling out for Symphony to reach her. He's just like, Symphony, you out there? Symphony, just let me know you're okay. I'm lost. And so I'm just like, it'll be okay. I'm gonna save you. And essentially, Symphony just like, okay. And so Jay just transforms into his purified state. And he's just like, alright. Now, how do I exactly purify fog? Fog! Be gone! And then nothing happens. He's just like, that's not it? It's not purified, right? There's nothing to purify. Unless... Purify the area to be clear. So he basically, once he said that in focus actually, because he was being a dumbass for 10 seconds, I don't know why, well essentially, he cleared the area of the fog and essentially it's sunset. But the fog ends up becoming something else and starting to form in a different way. And so Jay's just like, I guess that's the way then. And so, as he's kind of doing this, as you could tell, Ruby got back up and lunged her way back towards Jay. However, in a moment of gigantic what the actual hells, she was stopped by a newly emerged Symphony. And Symphony was just smacking her out the way and knocked her out again. And Symphony was just like, "You're not that bright, are you?" And so Jay to himself was like, "She's fast. I didn't even catch her until the sight was that close. Also, holy shit, she got an ass." And so Symphony just like, "It's pretty big, right?" And I'm just like, do you read minds or something? And so essentially Symphony just like, "Nah, I just guessed." And I'm just like, seriously? So Symphony just like, "Let's get it moving. This place is exhausting to be in." I'm just like, I agree. And so Jay basically grabs Ruby and took her out the TV world with Symphony. So waifu has been obtained, and it's now a good time. So essentially what happens after this, well, they go back to their safe haven. They basically leave Yasuo Inaba, and essentially what happens is, after leaving the TV world, everyone kind of makes it back to the school and was after being saved by Symphony. And the safe haven was back to being normal. It was safe from the universal essence leakage, which was the problem, and why Yasuo Inaba was even there. So, you know, everything is pretty much okay. However, we are in the infirmary where Ruby is there, basically laid the hell out as she kinda low-key should be. And essentially, Jay and Sage is just over her, and he just like, "Do you think it's smart to share knowledge with her? She already has a mind of her own." And so essentially Sage is like, "I believe it isn't necessary. Most likely she will kill you if you don't." And I'm just like, I know, but like, I'm like, I know, like, Tanya, but Tanya went crazy when I shared it with her because she already had a mind of her own and beliefs. And so Sage is just like, "I understand your hesitation, but she can't stay like this." And so Jay's just like, ah. And so he gets basically on his knee, just like, "Just bear with me, Ruby." And essentially, Jay started sharing his knowledge to Ruby, and she started to freak out a little bit. She didn't like completely go crazy, but she freaked out a little bit in her mind as she was unconscious. And essentially, it was intense for a minute, but it finally stopped. And so Jay was just like, "That should do it." And so Sage was like, "We should wait on her. Let her rest for now." And so essentially, Sage is just like, "I do wonder how she will react to you. Will the fact of her team not being here bother her?" And I'm just like, "Probably. All we can do is wait. Probably won't be too long now." And so essentially, on the second floor, we see Shoko and Blue having a nice ass conversation. The girls! The home girls. What y'all talking about? Talking about some people eating some chicken when they don't need to be? I'm wondering what the hell it could be, possibly be the reason why I said that. Anyway, when it comes down to things, Shoko's just like, "So, you mean right after you woke up, you two started to..." And then so basically Blue was just like, "He was big." And so Shoko's just like, "That's it! I'm gonna find him and drain him. Hold him back on me, will he? He will enter my indomitability and know true power." And so, yeah, they just basically, they just weird. They just weird. That's why they good friends too. They just weird as shit. But that's why they good friends. But anyway, when it comes down to things, Toko was showing Symphony around the safe haven and basically ran into Blue and Shoko. And so Toko was like, "And here is the other girls that came from dreams like you." And so Symphony just come out the gate with some nonsense. She's just like, "Shosho, BB, how are you guys?" And so Toko's like, "Eh?" And so Shoko's just like, Did she just call me Shosho?" And then Blue just like, "BB?" And so essentially Symphony just like, "So, what were you talking about? Senpai's dick size?" And so Blue got a little embarrassed. And so Symphony just like, "He also said my ass was big too, so that makes me happy." And so Shoko to herself just like, "This girl is weird and dangerous." And essentially Toko just like, great. She's just like Junko in disguise." And that's basically the end of that act, which, do not worry, we will definitely get more scenes with Symphony. We will definitely get more scenes with Symphony at some point in time. Be rest assured, her and Junko are going to be best friends, spoiler alert. So anyway, when it comes down to things, we go back into the infirmary. And essentially what happens is we see Ruby just starting to wake up, And Sage is kind of gone at the moment, but Jay's still in the room. And essentially, Jay's just like, you finally awake? And Ruby and Jay just kind of sat in silence for a while, not really knowing what to say to each other, especially after their fight. And essentially, Ruby kind of finally says something, and she's just like, what do you want from me? I'm just like, the question is, what do you want for yourself? Now that you're here, you may as well figure it out. Since the wife is nowhere to be found, I think that's a good start. And so Ruby getting kind of pissed off, and she's just like, excuse you? You kidnapped me! There's no point in both of us being caught. And so I'm just like, maybe so. But this ain't the first time where they left you in the dark like that. And so Ruby just like, stop acting like you know me. You could never understand. And I'm just like, I understand that I would never accept my friends not caring for me. Much less dealing with Ozpin's problems with Salem. Hell, in the Ever After, they basically put your feelings aside just so theirs can be put first. And Ruby was just like, a leader must put everything aside and focus on what's important. Besides, everything worked out in the end, and so Jay just like, they always work out, and yet it still ends up being the same shit. Ozpin must have made a mistake making you leader, because every time you made a call, or your friends did, it always ended up with the situation getting more dire than it needs to be. If I was Weiss, I'd leave you too, considering you haven't done anything worthy of a leader. And essentially, Jay just like going off on her. He just like, instead of being mad at me, you should be pissed at those so-called team members of yours. And so Ruby had heard enough and basically used pedal burst to run her ass to the rooftop. Yeah, she was gone. She was not about to listen to this. So on the rooftop, Ruby was just like, what could he possibly know about leading a team and being a leader? And so Jay just kind of come from behind and he's just like, bitch, I run this world and work with people all the time. And so Ruby kind of was surprised about his speed, honestly, that how fast he was catching up to him, that he caught up to her. But that didn't necessarily like matter at the moment. So essentially, Ruby was just like, and you feel like we're the same? That justifies your take? I want to be a hero like my mom, who was the greatest huntress that ever lived. And I aim to be a hero while you're just being selfish to no end. I know my plans did backfire, and I know we made a lot of choices, but together, we overcame many odds. We saved people. We are heroes. I am the leader. A leader puts their best effort forward and brings hope to people. What could you possibly know about my life? And I'm just like, I know that you're not perfect. I know that people in the whole kingdom died because of you and your choices. You strike for unrealistic ideas, yet go for them anyway, just to put more people in danger. Out of anyone in Remnant, you are the biggest threat to all life there. But let me ask you this. Have you ever, once in your life, wondered what you really want, without the guidance of Yang or Ozpin or even Summer? You're right. I'm no leader or hero. Only fight for what I want. But I know I wouldn't take shit that people just up and give me. You think you're a good leader and huntress, but in reality you've never been so broken. All you think you need is a hollow hug from your team members, and that's enough, when in truth they only care about themselves and want to wear you down. Ruby Rose's existence doesn't matter to them. And so Ruby just like, then what am I? I thought I knew who I was when I chose myself, when mom said I was enough. And now what? I still mess up? I failed to be a leader to others. So you tell me, what the hell do you think I need to be? You have the answer, right? So say it! You need to understand it's okay to be human. And so Ruby went quiet and was a bit confused. And so she was like, I can't be. A leader is meant to be the best. I need to improve. I need to be strong for everyone. And everywhere I go, I still must screw up. Even when things get hard, I have to give everyone hope and a smile. And Jay's just like, you think that's okay? And so Ruby just like, it doesn't matter what I think. As long as Remnant is in danger, I have to act and guide everyone to a better tomorrow. That's the responsibility I've been given, but still. And so Ruby just weeping at this point. She's like, if I'm not good enough, then it doesn't matter. I don't even know if I should have heard those stories Mom told us. I don't even know if I should stay a huntress. I don't know what to do. Ruby, that's okay. Again, you're a human. Even leaders aren't perfect. And so Ruby was just like, what? And so Jay was like, when I made this world, I ran away from everything. I thought if I ran, I wouldn't have to deal with responsibility anymore. What I fail to understand is that they still do exist. All my actions so far has been selfish, and I do pay the price for it. But despite all my mistakes, all my decisions, I had to deal with it and move on. Never forget what that problem taught me once I've been in it. You've been in many situations, but never learned how to get put in check for it. So of course you're questioning your leadership. You've never been challenged before, so now the pressure is getting to you. Ruby, there is no such thing as heroes or villains. We are the decisions we make. You don't need to be perfect, but putting blame on others or casting it aside when you mess up isn't good either. We learn and we move, and that's what makes us human. I'm not saying you can't be a good leader, but you can't keep putting yourself on a high level like your mom once was. You can only go as high as Ruby believes she can. Mistakes come from learning. You just need to accept it. As far as your friends go, they need to learn the same thing too. If you feel some type of way of being pushed aside, then say it. It's better than keeping it aside and it being too late. You know what it takes to be perfect, so now understand what it means to be human. And so Ruby, after hearing all of that, Ruby was just like, you're right. I thought I should just be like mom, so I tried to hold on to myself to that standard, but it was so hard. Then failing all the time, and Weiss, Yang, and Blake were so disappointed in me. I just don't know what to do anymore. I don't know if I'm enough. And the fact that the spirit even used me to hurt you and that girl, I feel awful. Like I'm dying inside. As if I should never have been alive in the first place. Now that I'm like this, I don't know where to go. I feel lost and empty. And so Jay's just like, and that's okay to feel that way. But this is your first step into reality than those fairy tales. I think you've been taught from many people to be your best, but you never understood what to do when you're at your worst. I want to help you, Ruby. I want to save your humanity. Take it from me. Life gets worse before it gets better. Leaders get tired too, and need a pillar to lean on. So let me be your pillar. What do you say, Red? And Ruby hesitates for a minute, but she ultimately takes his hand. And Ruby just kind of takes a deep breath, and she's just like, okay, I want to be human. And so I'm just like, I'll do everything I can to help you and face life at times with you. Also, and Jay kind of looks at her while she's just kind of crying about life and stuff. And Jay just like takes his hand and kind of wipe away her tears. So she's just like, gotta stop crying, little Red. It'll be alright. And so Ruby just like, when you said I shouldn't be mad at you, I changed my mind at who I'm mad at. I'm mad at myself and my team. I don't want to hurt them, but I want them to understand where my feelings are. And Jay's just like, and we will, so don't worry. Anyway, enough of that crying. You're too cute to be doing that. Anyway, let's find Koneko. I'll have you know she makes a mean onigiri and sushi meal, you know. And so Ruby's just like, really? I like to join, if that's okay. I'm just like, of course it is. Though I'll have to help her make it too, so... it'll be fine. Though she said my folding skills are a bit... shit. And so Ruby kind of smiles and chuckles a little bit. And so Sage is kind of watching from the distance, obviously. And when it comes down to things, she's just like, you are wrong, Master. You're not selfish as much as you claim to be. You both have a long way to go. And you both have to work at it. But of all things, you are, Master. You are kind. And so, that was a sweet little message. Sage said, ah, Sage, you adorable ass robot, you. Hopefully I did Ruby's part with some justice, honestly. Hopefully I did it where it's relatable to the character and it's a way to, you know, change her. Again, I'm not fixing Ruby, I'm trying to change it. And when it comes down to this, hopefully I did her justice. So, you know, that's something I hope I did right. Also, Symphony didn't get a lot of screen time, but she is here, and definitely she might be even the start. She might be even be the reason why Bimbo Rampa even happens. So when it comes down to things, you know, Symphony has a role to play in a lot of this shit, and you know, it just a lot of shit is just happening, honestly. Question is, where do we go from here? Where will we go with Weiss, Yang, and Blake at the moment? You know, how are we gonna deal with that? What is the next move for Ruby? What is the next move for Symphony? The world may never know until next episode. But hopefully you did enjoy. This is only going to be the first video of today, because there is one more video I want to do, and that's already been recorded, thankfully. So we'll see how kind of things practically go. But that's it for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow me on the socials, and you like to donate to the channel. Patreon is available as well. And until then, it's boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.